recorded a journal and then you tried to modify that journal to suit your purpose. And then you came across a problem, the error in FindObject API. If you are a new learner, what you do is you most of the times try to record a journal and use the pieces of code from that journal to create your own program. And this is very obvious that you get stuck in a find object problem. Inside your recorded journal, this is how the find object API looks like. You do have certain variable. In this case, it is a NXOpen.part, and you try to use, or your journal has actually used find object and created this line, and you probably witness the error on this specific line. When you record that journal, that time you get the line like this. You get the error like this. NXOpen.exception at NXOpen.part collection find object. I call it find object problem because you need to do something to remove this find object call from your program so that your program should work, so that your program will work. What happens is a journal records the exact events that you performed during the recording process. And if you select an object during the recording process and do some operation on it, journal actually records the name of that object. So when you replay the journal, the operation will again be applied to the same named object. This is almost certainly not what you want, right? You probably want to operate on some newly selected object, or you wanted to operate on an object that you define somehow, with obviously by some other way, not by the name itself. So you want your journal to select the object that you want, not the object that you record then you that you selected when you recorded a journal. Let's look at this journal again. Here, this is a NXOpen.part variable, and then you see this is where find object is used, and this find object is trying to find the object with this name, which is mentioned in the double quotes inside this bracket. And then once that object is the object is found, then it will convert that object into NXOpen.part. So this is what is happening on this line. What will happen when you replay the exact journal code? The code is going to find out the object with the name given, which is probably useless. The good chance is that you will find the same object, and then the object will be picked up and the further code will work on that object. But you don't really want that to happen. You want to pick up your own object instead of that specific named object, so that your journal works on the other parts or whatever assemblies as well without an error. So it is very clear that we need to get rid of the find object call from your journal. And there are certain ways to get rid of it. So we are going to see those options, those methods that can help you get rid of find object call. But before that, let's see what our NXOpen Learning Assistant talks about find object. I have asked NXOpen Learning Assistant, what is FindObject? It responded that FindObject is a function in NXOpen API that is used to locate and retrieve object within the current work part. Of course, it takes a string parameter representing the name of an object and returns the corresponding object if found. And the important is, find object function is often used in journaling to record and replay the operation on specific objects. So you can see that find object is a function often used in journaling only. It is not used outside journaling at all. If you are writing your code from scratch yourself, not with the help of journal, you are not going to use find object at all. But if at all you are using the journal recording and trying to use some code from that journal, recorded journal, into your code, that time also you have to see that you do not use find object, because the main problem with this is that you cannot work with the specific name of that object while you replay your journal or while you play your own custom made journal file. I have even asked him, tell more about the find object. It gives me the lot more information about find object. So you can even go and try out yourself. NX Open Learning Assistant can give you lot more information. It can improve your knowledge about NX Open APIs, NX customization and programming. Now let's see how to get rid of find object. First of all, for this particular example, as I am going to find out the part, and this part I am going to find out in a assembly. For that reason, I need to start with declaring component assembly as well as the component as root component. So that declaration I have already done. If you don't know that much of NX Open, you need to spend more time to understand all these different parts of NX Open programming, their namespaces, APIs, all of that. Of course, you can take the help of NX Open Learning Assistant to improve your knowledge, or you can even think of joining my community for learning. But let's move on for now. So this is declaration that I need to do for component assembly as well as for component. Then what else I need to do is I need to change the code. I need to use the replacement code instead of this find object. So how I can do that? I need to write the for each loop, because for each loop will get inside all the components of a assembly, and then it will find out the required object and it will pick up that object instead of finding out the object from a name. So I do have a for each loop. This loop will find out the component first from the assemblies, and from the component I will convert that into the part, and then I can use that as part 1. So I can copy this and I can copy this part 1 variable name and I can use that here, so that my further code will take that variable name as is, can work further. So as I have replaced this, I can go and comment this line. So this is how I can get rid of the find object. But of course, based on the example that you do have, based on what kind of object and what type of object you are finding out, you might need to write the code relevant for that. Most of the times for each loop will going to help you, but you have to tweak that and you have to see that you pick up the correct object based on the condition written into your program, not by the find object call. Now let's play this journal and find out if it works. It has got some errors. It says that namespace not found. I can go and fix that even. I need to write some lines of code on in the top of the program, on the top of program. I have to import the NXOpen and NXOpen assemblies. Now let's try this again. It says some error now even. But what you can notice here, even though this is the error that we have got, but you can notice here we have got rid of, we have already got rid of the find object problem, because if you see here, this is the for each loop that we do have, and just after we had this line which was using a find object call, and we do not had any error related to that, because our code has gone further and the error is on the other line. But let's not stop at that error. Let's try to resolve that. So what I have done, I have declared the variable itself outside the for each loop, and I do had a condition which checks if I got the object or not. And then uh, after this fix, let's see if this journal works. It works and it went ahead. It has not thrown any error, and it has performed the required action in NX. So this is how you can get rid of find object error. Of course, the disclaimer is this is very typical example, typical situation that I handled with this for each loop. You might need to tweak, or you might need to apply some other resolution to get rid of find object error in your case. But this can be a good starting point for you. So keep watching the videos like this, and also engage on the videos. Thank you and bye bye for now.